Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another book review / discussion here on Planet Tyro. It's been a while since I've just spoken about another franchise of some sort. We're going to discuss a series called the Arc of a Scythe series made by Neil Shusterman, quite highly regarded. Now, I will say I was very hesitant to talk about this book series because it deals with death. It's one of the main plot points of the whole series. And because of the coronavirus pandemic, I actually thought it was a bit insensitive. But I will say, I think it's very philosophical in its premise. And it's given me a hell of a lot of food for thought. This is a science fiction fantasy drama series. I mean, there's elements of young adult here as well. I found this more philosophical for me for a few reasons. Now, I want to give you guys a premise. So if you're coming in just want to hear my opinions of the book when you've already read it or you know what it's about, bear with me as I just explain to people who might want to check it out what it's about. Now, in this universe, there's something called the Thunderhead. The Thunderhead is an evolved version of smart assistants. You know, Google Now, Google Home, Siri. Imagine that evolved into a super intelligent AI. And usually, when they evolve a super intelligent AI, we always think of Skynet in Terminator. This AI that wants to destroy the humans and wants to just take over the world, or the Matrix, these robots that want to take over. But the one thing I found refreshing about the series, this AI evolves into a good AI. It actually wants to take care of the Earth. It actually advances the human species. In fact, it advances the human species in a bad way. It creates immortality. Now, because of that, a big problem with the society in this book is overpopulation. Because of overpopulation, there's a new governing body put in place to basically self-fix the overpopulation problem. There's basically modern day Grim Reapers around called Scythes. They kill people to, fix the population count. It's a government body. They're called the Scythe. And that's what the focus of the book is about, this organization called the Scythe, and how the Scythe, their whole world is rocked by the introduction of two new Scythes, which are the main characters. And the problem is that the Thunderhead doesn't want to be in charge of killing people, so it separates itself from the governing body. It deals with everything. The Thunderhead deals with everything. This AI deals with everything except for killing people. And so you have these two big powers on the Earth, and the Scythes, these Grim Reapers walking around on Earth. They're like superstars as well. It's a very thought-provoking and disturbing series, and it's a trilogy. And I have to say, man, again, I liked the idea of an AI that's trying to actually take care of human beings and has all these thoughts and is evolving as a character in itself. Now, the main characters, Citra and Rowan, these two young people who were chosen to become part of this governing body, they're your young adult characters. And again, for the first book, which is called Scythe, I guess you see the world through their eyes. And I would say that the setting for the book seems pretty modern. It's not too futuristic in this setting. It's just the things around them that the AI has created that's interesting. Like, for instance, one of the things I really liked about the book is that because everyone's more or less immortal, they see suicide as like a game. A lot of the younger characters see suicide as a game, and because it's abolished, people live to long ages, and they can even reset their age and make themselves look younger. So someone could be 200 but have the appearance of 25. I was like, that's pretty interesting, and what that entails. I think the most compelling thing about the book series is the Scythes themselves. The people who are tasked with evening out the population, they are meant to, I think they're meant to take this task of culling the population with a sense of dignity and respect. And then you soon find out that, Scythes are human. There's going to be people that do it in a nice way, people that do it in a bad way, people who have radical ideas. So you've got a villain out there who's got a radical way of thinking. And the book just gave me a lot of food for thought. There's a plot with the two main characters and overthrowing the government and world coming to an end, all that stuff. But honestly, the thing I really appreciated the book more than anything else was its pondering on human life. All the concepts the book puts out in a philosophical way are, to me, honestly, more interesting than the plot itself. I really enjoyed the book as it went on. I thought the first book was like a very traditional young adult setup, but by the end, I really liked that the book kind of surprised me. The first book is Scythe, the second book, The Thunderhead. It was really impressive because the AI became its own character. I really felt like the AI spoke to you. Well, I listened to the audiobook, so he literally spoke to me, and I really enjoyed a good AI having these thoughts and not liking what's happening to the human race and not interfering. You would think this AI would, the AI just cut itself, like, I'm not getting involved in this stuff. And because the AI is developing its own emotions and is trying to go against its own code and stuff, it's really interesting stuff. And I as a guy who loves sci-fi, I guess I was more engrossed by that than the human characters running around, because humans are humans. Even if you give them authority, as we're seeing in the world today, people with authority can do horrible things. And this book is just another reflection of that, which I think is really good. I think my only problem with the trilogy is at the end, which isn't even a bad thing. At the end, I felt like the book surprised me, where I couldn't really tell where it was going. And by the end, it didn't really end, it didn't go in the direction I thought it was going to go in. And it just kind of ended in a, I wouldn't call it anticlimactic way, but kind of in a, okay, that was not what I expected. Which in a sense is refreshing, but in another way, I was, I don't know, I was surprised by the ending. I was, and it wasn't a shock ending or anything like that. Just the route it took was, it ended. It was conclusive. I would say that, so I'm not going to complain. But in general, if you want to know what I thought of the character development, I thought it was pretty good. But again, it's skewed young adult writing, so your two main characters are teenagers, so meh. The adult characters interested me more. The guy who was, I can't remember the character's name, the character who was overseeing Citra and Rowan's task training was really interesting to me. The villain, not so much, because as the series went on, I think when the villain or the antagonist is first introduced, he seems interesting because he's got a radical philosophy. But then as the series goes on, he's kind of evil for evil's sake. And by the end, when you learn more about the past of the villain and stuff like that, I thought it was a little bit over the top. But to be honest with you, with young adult novels, and I really hate to boil this book down to just a young adult novel, but the villain is written in a very more black and white way as the books went on. But I have to say, man, the philosophy of the book, the Scythe and the AI, and just going through people's last days. There's a lot of parts of this book where we're seeing people in their last days and rectifying that. And I've said this so many times. I find stories that deal with death. Then let's talk about anime. Death Note is a good example. Death Note deals with death and a very charismatic, sadistic person. I can relate this to Death Note in that way. You think about death and life and the manipulation of it. They have that in common, and that's why I like this book. And again, you get that as a parallel in Death Note to this book as well, book series as well. So I like that. 6 Feet Under as a TV series, I've always railed on and on and on about. It deals with death, but it celebrates life. And I always find these books so interesting. And again, a TV series that I'm reading right now, which I still haven't finished, the Middle Force Time Travel series, is a book that deals with death and reincarnation. I just find that when you focus on death, it's a reflection of life. And this is a really, really good trilogy for that. Not super fantastic. There's things about it that aren't perfect, but it really engrossed me with its concept. And I think it delved into certain elements more than I thought it would. And I liked that there wasn't an evil AI this time. It was really interesting, and that's what made it very refreshing. If I have to give this book series, if I had to, which I'm going to, if I had to give this book series a rating, I would give it a solid B. Check it out on Audible. It gives a lot of good food for thought. I really enjoyed a lot of concepts, a lot of the characters. Audiobook performance was great. And if Goodreads has very decent reviews, honestly, it was a really good, interesting listen. Again, listen to this in the coronavirus pandemic times. It gave me a lot of pause to talk about it. But now I would say, you know what? If you want something that's definitely going to like give you food for thought in these crazy times, this book series might be good just for that alone. The reason I didn't want to talk about it might be a reason you might want to check it out. But in terms of science fiction, plot, it's above average. I really did enjoy it. Not super amazing, but really engrossing for what it was. And it tapered off a little bit, but I enjoyed it. So if you read the series, what did you think? Leave a comment down below. Again, check it out on Audible. I have an Audible membership, so I tend to just check out books here and there. And if you have a recommendation for a series, a trilogy, or just a single novel, let me know. Leave it in the comments down below. And I just wanted to give you guys this quick recommendation. I've read a few other books here and there, but I'm always picky about what I talk about on the channel. But you know, this is pretty well received, so I don't have a problem recommending it. So anyway, guys, I got a whole audiobook or book recommendation playlist. Check out our reviews, books, anime, manga, movies, television shows. Apologies for not being around as much. Right now, behind the scenes, I work at a hospital, so you can imagine working at a hospital in the pandemic era, what that's like. So thanks for sticking with us, guys. Thanks for all the subs, and I hope you enjoyed the audiobook reviews. Got some more coming, and yeah, see you guys on the next one. Peace.